Hey StarCrafters, Wookie here, and I've got a game to share with you. It's not a Bronze League lesson, but a fun little game I played in recently, and I thought y'all might enjoy it. It's a mirror match, Terran versus Terran. I'm the red Terran in the bottom left, and my opponent is Fugacious in the upper right as the blue Terran. I say this is a mirror match, and I mean that quite literally. In a very particular sense of the word, this is a mirror match. Well, it's kind of funny the way it shakes out. So I'm going to get going a little bit faster because the beginning of the games are kind of all the same, and I don't have a lot of announcements to make or anything, so we're just going to get through it. Of note, I build a barracks at my ramp like I normally do. Fugacious builds his in the gold expansion that is very close to my base. And then I sent out a scouting probe. Now I've said in a past video of mine, the Bronze League lesson, I believe it was number 1, I even flippantly kind of mentioned that you don't need to scout in the Bronze League. I want to wholeheartedly apologize for saying that and take it back, because scouting is very important, and it's something you should do. It's something you need to learn to do. But you got to know why, and it's more important that you learn to macro properly and control your units properly. Macro first, scouting maybe second, and then micro third. I might change my mind on that later, but at this point, when I get my SCV around his base one time, I see gas, I see a command center, I see just a few SCVs, 2 supply depots. Where are the production buildings? Oh my gosh, they have to be out in the field somewhere. So I'm freaking out a little bit. I've walled in my front. I'm making a couple of mariners, and I believe we just missed. I saw a marine on the field, so I'm going to back it up. He actually made a marine at the barracks when it was on the ground here and ran it around. Here it comes. And so I see this marine hanging out the bottom of my ramp, and so I'm convinced that his barracks is out in the field somewhere. And it kind of just escapes my mind that barracks don't have to stay where you build them. So while he's distracting me at the ramp with the one marine, he's floating the barracks in over here. And I am just not even thinking about the possibility that he can float a barracks into my base from somewhere else. I'm like, well, he must be building Reapers now or something. So I build a barracks in his base. I started it there and realized that if he got this geyser, he might see it, so I canceled it real quick and moved it over here, hoping he wouldn't notice. And he didn't. My cam, you can see I'm completely unaware of this. And his cam, you can see he's completely unaware of that. So now we are quite literally mirroring each other. He's a little bit ahead of me on the proxy as far as that goes, but he takes the time to get a reactor, and I don't take the time to get a reactor, so it ends up evening out. He ends up with more units in my base, but you can see I've got a little bit of a jump on him because I didn't float a barracks. Let's make sure we're looking at the units tab. I've got 5 Marines, he's got 0, so I'm a little bit ahead because I didn't lose that production time. And I don't know this is here. So I'm just trying to play a super normal game, or as normal a game as I can here at the front of my base, because I suspect that I'm going to lose all this. Because remember, I think his barracks are somewhere out in the field. So as soon as he finds this, he's just going to bring his guys back, and he's already seen it. He ran an SCV over there. So I'm just convinced he's just massing up enough units to come take this out. So I'm trying to play as normal a game as I can at the front, and I come down here and I grab this gold to try to compensate for the fact that I'm going to lose this. So waiting. I'm trying to do normal things here, getting the stem. Meanwhile, back at the ranch house, there's a whole bunch of Marines this far away from my mineral line, and I'm clueless. Totally clueless. I think he just ran. Now, this was interesting. He's a factory with a reactor. That took a lot of time to build. I'm not sure why he did that. And then over here, we're going to back that up. I'm probably going too fast. I should slow this down. Now, I finally decided I'm going to check the corners of my base. And I didn't see a single Marine of mine actually fire his gun. I didn't fire a single shot right there. So, oh my goodness, I just lost all my Marines on a move click. So I decided to pop out of my bunkers. I'm like, now's the time. He decides to move out of the shadows. Comes after me. I'm getting my orbital command out of there. Because I got a little bit of a trust fund going on. Oh, again, something I really need to work on. So I'm like, I can just start making SCVs wherever this thing lands. Over here, he didn't do any control really, try to save his SCVs. I suspect he was clicking on these guys. Our APMs are like a combined not even 50. So not a whole lot of real precise control going on, but he comes up here to try to blow up my buildings, and he starts focusing on the buildings. Which one's getting it? This one. I get kind of lucky with a 3 racks spawn here, so I get a couple extra units, and I actually back them out, stim them up, and run them back in, and get that cleaned up. SCVs in the front taking damage. Are they taking damage? Looks like they were a little bit. And so I got the advantage here. I've got the gold going. Very little micro control on either side, so I was able to clean that up. Nice job. But you imagine the look on my face when I saw this and I lost like 10 Marines on a move command. My jaw just dropped open, but Stim saved me, and the fact that I played a pretty normal game and had the foresight to take this gold, I think really helped out. Oftentimes when your opponent uses a non-traditional strategy or a rush strategy, mimicking it is a pretty good path to victory. Excuse me. You know, you mimic it and just do your best to out macro, and generally you can win. You know, any kind of proxy rush. You know, clearly all their units are out in the field, so their base is poorly defended. If you can sneak in behind and beat them at their own game, you know, it's generally going to win. The only qualifier is you have to know they're doing it and try to keep them from doing it, so, or keep them from knowing what you're doing. So scouting is important. I believe I said earlier that I once believed you didn't have to scout in the Bronze League. All you had to do was be a better macro player than your opponent. Well, to an extent. Scouting is the anti-cheese. I hate the term cheese. What most people call cheese, I just call alternate strategy. You know, it's up to you to not get rushed, proxy rushed, cannon rushed, whatever. If you scout it, if you're paying attention, you know, and you catch it in time, it's actually one of the nicest things your opponent can do for you is way overextend themselves, put all their eggs in one basket, and allow you to crush that basket and break all their eggs and win the game. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting that we both did a proxy barracks quite on accident. Like sometimes you use the same strategy to counter your opponent on purpose. This time I happened to do it on accident, and it worked out in my favor. Hopefully I'll be back for you with a Bronze League lesson sometime soon. I have learned some things. I am still in the Bronze League, but I don't have a good replay to demonstrate what I think I've learned, so maybe I'll get on the ladder, play a few games, try to manufacture a video that demonstrates what I think I know, and I'll be back with that video for you. Take care, guys. Wookie out.